Well, I know most of us were waiting in anticipation for the government's announcement last Monday with information about the next stages in the corona pandemic. I started to pick up the news about 5 o'clock and listened keenly to hear what Boris would have to say. I guess by now we're all fairly familiar with the four-step roadmap out of lockdown. 8th of March, schools go back and care home residents can have one visitor. March the 29th, the rule of six starts again, along with some outdoor sports. 12th of April, if things go to plan, that is, shops and hairdressers and gyms and pubs can reopen, and we can start to go on holiday again in the UK. 17th of May, international travel becomes possible, and major sporting events can take place again. And finally, on the 21st of June, most restrictions will be finally dropped. Of course, it all depends on the virus continuing to be checked, but it's looking hopeful that a new season with many fewer restrictions is on its way. Well, I guess that for each of us, there will be things that we particularly value. I'm really looking forward to being able to see our children again, the boys in Cambridge and Hannah and Peter in Norwich. I'm looking forward to seeing my mother, who's in residential care, and my mother-in-law, who's on her own in Somerset. I'm delighted that our two family weddings will be able to take place, even if numbers will be reduced for the first one. And I'm sure all of us will value doing some of the things that we used to do. Eating out, seeing friends, watching sport, children going to school, coming to church for services, and all the rest. A new season is definitely on its way. Well, I guess it's likely that it may take some of us time to adjust, maybe all of us time to adjust to this new, more open season. We may find we've lost some confidence over the past year and need to build that up again. We may find we've become fearful of getting too close to other people, going into supermarkets, being in crowds, and it may take time to feel comfortable with those things again. We may be grieving for people we've lost over the past year, and healing may take longer than in normal times. It's likely there'll be something of a season of recovery as we adjust to the new freedoms that are coming. Well, a hymn that I particularly value and find helpful in changing times is one called "Through All the Changing Scenes of Life." You may remember it. The first verse runs, "Through all the changing scenes of life, in trouble and in joy, the praises of my God shall still my heart and tongue employ." It's a beautiful hymn. It's based on Psalm 34, and it's really about making a choice to continue to rejoice in God in all the different seasons and stages of life. It's really about choosing to believe, to have faith, to continue to worship God in changing times and circumstances. St. Paul understood that. He once described himself as sorrowful yet always rejoicing. It's interesting, sorrowful yet always rejoicing. That was making a decision to praise God even when he was feeling down and depressed. It was a good way to be and enabled Paul to be a great encouragement to other people. So today, as we start to move into new seasons, a season of greater freedom, maybe a season of recovery, I pray that we'll put our faith and trust in God once again, that we'll be able to rejoice like Paul did in the Lord's continued love and faithfulness.